Greetings, greetings, greetings. Today I'm just taking a walk around to pay attention to nature, which I'm always paying attention to nature, but it's a different kind of paying attention to nature. It's like concerning myself with the earth. The earth. The earth that our ancestors have done many things upon. Some be rewarding and some be destructive, constructive or destructive. My attention is really laying heavy. My energy is brought very heavy right now because in nature, energy never dies. Energy never dies. It just transforms. So those ancestors are still here. They're still with us in the form of many different things: the air, the water, the earth. The earth is alive. When I walk, no matter many different places that I've traveled to, I always go and visit in nature, and I feel the energy of the people who have been there on that land, on that piece of earth. As being one of indigenous background, I feel it a lot in many different things that places that I go. Like I say, when I'm around certain trees, I can feel the energy of the natives the indigenous ones that roamed and lived upon that land, and their energy is in that soil and has grown back. No matter who's touched it or whatever, that energy is still there, and it returns back into those trees, and it calls me to stand still and pay attention, listen as they speak to me. And then, like when I was in the Atlanta, Georgia area, I always felt uneasy about Stone Mountain. And I didn't know at the time, I didn't know the history of Stone Mountain, but my spirit was always uneasy about Stone Mountain. And but then I went out to Kennesaw Mountain, and I walked up that mountain. And when I got up that mountain, I started feeling the energy of soldiers. I felt them hiding behind rocks. I felt them like having their meals, their breakfast. I felt them having like something like soup. I felt their energy. And I could feel the battles. And when I went to like Richmond, Virginia, they treated me well in Richmond, Virginia. There was a lot of Confederacy stuff going on, and my energy was heavy there, very heavy. I could feel slavery, like big time. I felt the slaves are wounded people. I felt their energy still wounded. And then, let's see, where else? There a lot of old cars that I'm around. If I find myself in the presence of old cars, some of them I'm okay with, but a lot of them I feel a lot of heavy, painful, hateful energy. And then there's some trees that I'm around that call my attention to it, and I feel tragedy, where there must have been some kind of like hangings and stuff like that, like, lynching. That's the word I'm looking for. I can feel that. And I can feel where there's a lot of heightened power in certain areas where I go and walk through parks and stuff like that. The property where I am, I won't even get into the concept of people not really hearing what I'm talking about when I tell them that no matter what has occurred on it, that it's a blessed, it's a sacred zone. It's a sacred zone. And when I start thinking about the ancestors that roam, especially throughout, like, because located in Florida, and our ancestors are native Indian or indigenous, because they give so many different terminology, but the original ones of this land, their energy, the energy is still here, and I feel it. And I feel that they're unhappy with what has come to be of these lands. All these highways and all this modern technology and everything has and how it came about. It didn't come about because somebody willingly offered to say, hey, do whatever to make it better. Nobody complained about it was bad. It worked. The system worked. The navigations worked, just like ancient Egypt and in other areas, because I'm not as knowledgeable about a lot of the other areas. But when you hear about the Nile and stuff like that, even in the Amazons, that the indigenous people of that area knew how to work their area to make it workable for them, so that you're in coexistence with nature, with life. Right now, we are, as a people, we're off balance. We're out of alignment. Out of alignment. The whole concept of masculine and feminine and stuff is out of alignment. Come on, kitty. Oh, well, stop and scratch. Okay. One of the feral cats out here is following behind me. Anyway, the whole thing is, I had to make a video in regards to this, because mankind is totally out of alignment right now. So a lot of things are not going to work properly. And with that right now, I'm going to say peace, love, and namaste, Ashe.